The Gears of War series just got an insane update of where it could be going after E-Day, and it involves going into space. We'll be covering all of this in detail and how it relates to the upcoming entry, Gears of War E-Day, Gears of War 6, and maybe even a Gears of War 7 throughout the video. So if that interests you, definitely make sure to stick around. For this video, we'll be covering an article on Games Radar, which will be linked down below if you want to give it a read yourself. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Diablo 4's lead, Rod Ferguson, was previously known for his work on pretty much every single Gears of War game, well before his involvement in Blizzard's Dark and loot-filled world. And he's now opened up about what the plans for Gears of War 6 look like before his departure from the developer The Coalition. So essentially, now that he doesn't work there, he is completely spilling the beans on some behind closed doors information. And honestly, he might have even ruined a surprise that was coming up for the game after E-Day, assuming that they go back to the present day Gears timeline after E-Day. It is completely possible that if E-Day is majorly successful though, that going back to Gears 6 could get backlogged if a sequel for E-Day is made a priority. This is all also assuming that he wasn't 100% sure if these plans for the sequel were scrapped before his departure. Continuing on, the article reads, asked about his opinions on the recently revealed prequel Gears of War E-Day in an interview with Podcast Unlocked, Ferguson said, "It's a little surreal to have something come out about Gears of War that I haven't been involved in. You know, I spent 15 years with Gears of War and basically every game that was made. I think 9 or 10 total." Further making it clear that if there is anyone who would know what direction the series is going in, that it would be him. Ferguson said that he was surprised by the Coalition's decision to explore the series' past rather than continue a story that was only partway done in Gears 5. But it was ultimately really smart because fans had been asking to see E-Day, the moment when the Locust first erupted from the ground, for years. But as he previously explained, OG series developer Epic Games never depicted Gears of War E-Day's events because the team couldn't do it justice on the Xbox 360. As Ferguson states, fans have been asking for an E-Day centered story for some time now. Whether it be from the comic series, video games, or even a movie, fans have just always wanted to see E-Day happen in the eyes of the characters we know and love. And until now, we've been limited to characters' memories, flashbacks, and quips about the past, but just haven't gotten the opportunity to fully flesh out the story until this game's announcement. Epic Games, as Ferguson mentioned, previously stated that they never tackled E-Day because they didn't think they could do it justice on the Xbox 360's limited potential. Meaning likely they had a vision of onslaughts of enemies and major destruction beyond comprehension. When I think of this, I think something along the lines of Halo Reach, where the planet is just being bombarded by alien forces and humanity is getting pushed to the brink of extinction out of almost nowhere. Now we're getting to the juicy part in the article, where the article keeps going by saying, things get extra juicy when Ferguson talks about the plans for Gears of War 6 that he left behind since, surprisingly, the sequel was apparently going to take us off the Earth-like planet of Serra for the very first time. Gear 6 was to leave Serra, he said. That was something we were building to. If you paid attention to the story in Gears 5, you come across the UIR. Union of Independent Republics, sort of rocket technology. We were sort of laying the seeds and the groundwork that in taking over the UIR territory, we've adopted their space program. So what I wanted to do with Gear 6 is take you off Serra to encounter what that could mean to the rest of the galaxy, or at least the rest of the solar system. Not that you'd be hopping between planets, but it was old Russian-era Sputnik-type tech, so we weren't going to start mass effecting this. It was really about, let's get you to a new place to encounter what that looks like. Gears of War 6 wasn't just going to space, however. It was also going to have to deal with the end of Gears 5, which made players choose between saving JD or Del. The first time in series history where players impacted the story and the previously very tight-knit continuity. Ferguson doesn't reveal what the Coalition's plans were for JD and or Del in the 6th mainline game, though he does note that the choice was pretty neck and neck. Here Ferguson reveals what I would say is a pretty big narrative leak. We all know that when information was coming out about Gears of War E-Day, which happened after the trailer was revealed, that the Coalition was making it very clear that Kate Diaz's story wasn't over and that they would return to it at a later time. But here, he outright states that the story that they were trying to tell was only partway done, and it seems that there is material enough for even a Gear 7, with gathering information that the major decision you make at the end of 5 was supposed to happen later on in a part that didn't even fully happen in Gears 5, and is assumingly going to be pushed over to Gears of War 6, that part being the part about going into space and at least going to other planets around Sarah. This, coupled with the fact that he didn't really even touch on the plotline that they're going with to make the decision of you choosing Del or JD matter, means there is more content that they've already got, at the very least the outlines of, to give players a Gears of War 6 and maybe even a Gears of War 7. One thing I'm a little concerned with is the article states Ferguson doesn't reveal what the Coalition's plans were for JD and or Del in the 6 mainline game, though he does note that the choice was pretty neck and neck. So, when I think about this, my mind thinks, will this decision's outcome be unique enough to really matter on who you choose? Will these two characters have different things that they're good at so that they have different branching narrative paths for Gears of War 6? Or will it just ultimately be, okay, you saved Del or you saved JD, so now they'll be in your party for most, if not all of 6, and then eventually feel indebted to you, so when pinned down against enemy forces, they pull a Dom and sacrifice themselves to get you to safety. Meaning no matter who you chose, that it would just mean that Del or JD ultimately sacrifices themselves for you. Personally, I hope the decision means more than just additional time and voice lines with your chosen character, but that's up to the Coalition to work out. And they have more than enough time to come up with this in the future. For now, I'm just hoping that Gears of War E-Day is amazing, and from what they've shown with just their initial trailer, it looks like it will be. With a new top-of-the-line game engine getting pushed to look like it does in that trailer, the return of the Dom and Marcus Brotherhood, and a return to the franchise's roots, it all looks uphill from here. After more than 5 years of waiting for a mainline Gears game, it's good to know that they have a major roadmap for where the series is going, even after returning to the present-day story after they're done with E-Day, and I can't wait to see more information about the series come out once the Coalition is ready to reveal it. But that's enough out of me for today. Do you guys think that Gears of War 6 will follow Ferguson's plot of taking the cogs into space? And are you more excited for Gears of War E-Day or Gears of War 6? Let me know what you guys think about all of this in the comment section down below. And of course, I've got to say thank you so much for making it to the end of the video. If you enjoyed or found it entertaining, make sure to scroll down and make that like button glow so we can reach our like goal of 25 likes for this video. While you're down there, consider subscribing as we'll be covering Gears of War as updates come out, other AAA games throughout the year, hilarious content, and more. As always, your support to your viewership, liking, and subscribing is always greatly appreciated and helps me out tremendously against the locust threat that is the YouTube algorithm. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope to catch you guys next time. Peace!